Let's learn about security in Agent Communication Protocol or ACP. The two aspects of security that we want to cover in this lecture is first authenticating the ACP clients to make sure that only authorized ACP clients can access our ACP servers. And the second one is to establish a secure communication channel between ACP clients and ACP servers. As you already know, in a production environment, your ACP servers and ACP clients will be deployed on two different infrastructure. And therefore, the communication between ACP client and ACP server will be over the internet. Because of that, we have to secure that communication channel and encrypt the network traffic. ACP is built upon standard HTTP protocol and therefore it supports HTTPS and TLS. To support TLS, you must establish a SSL certificate from a SSL certificate authority. For example, you can create a Let's Encrypt SSL certificate or purchase one from GoDaddy. And then you will install your SSL certificate, or in a more technical term, you terminate your SSL certificate on the load balancer. Once you do that, ACP client will communicate with the load balancer through HTTPS. However, the network traffic between HTTP load balancer and ACP servers will be over normal HTTP. If you don't want to use load balancer for any reason, or if you want the traffic between your load balancer and your ACP servers to be also encrypted, there is no problem. ACP servers can also handle HTTPS traffic themselves. The next thing that we need to cover is authentication. ACP servers can support basic authentication, bearer tokens, and JSON Web Tokens. If you use the ACP SDK of Python, you should know that ACP servers are built upon FastAPI framework, and therefore you can use the FastAPI middleware to check authentication header across all agents in the ACP server. However, as you know, ACP server may have more than one agent in it. And again, if for any reason you have different agents that require different form of authentication, you can implement different authentication mechanisms within every single agent. And you normally do that by reading the HTTP header of the context and checking for the appropriate token. Let's go to Visual Studio and see how this happens. In the GitHub repository of this course, there is a directory called SSL. I have provided you with two example key files here. One is a certificate file and one is a key file. And these are self-signed certificates that we can use for SSL. Now let's look at the server that I have provided. This is a copy of a simple server file that we used before. So as you can see, the code is very simple. However, when I run the server using server run, I provide two parameters. One is SSL key file, one is SSL certificate file. Basically, one of them is the private key, one of them is the public key. So if you have created your own keys, you can just simply provide them to server.run using these two parameters. That is it. And if you do that, your ACP server can handle SSL traffic itself. If you do that, then your client can use HTTPS instead of HTTP to communicate with the server. However, if like me, you are using self-signed certificates, your client is going to reject the certificates by default. If you are using self-signed certificate only for testing and development and learning, there is a second parameter that you can pass to the constructor of the client class. It is called verify. Make sure that you set the verify to false. In a production environment, do not provide this parameter or set verify to true so that it verifies the certificates. Now let's go to terminal and run the server. In the server, just because I have provided the certificate files, you will see that the server starts listening on HTTPS and not HTTP. Now we run the client. And as you can see, the client successfully communicated with the server and returned the message with no problem. If I say verify true or just remove that and run the client, I will get a load of errors. And that is because the certificates are self-signed certificates and they are not valid from the validation perspective. Now let's look at authentication. There is another directory called authentication, and I have provided you with two types of servers. One server uses FastAPI to basically implement authentication across all agents. To do that, you will import Fast API and classes such as depends, HTTP exception, status, and so forth. And also you need to import Fast API security with classes such as HTTP bearer if you want to implement HTTP bearer check, for example, or you can import HTTP basic for basic authentication and so forth. I think the HTTP bearer token has the best balance between the simplicity of basic authentication and the sophistication of JSON Web Token. So this is what I use normally. On top of creating an instance of the server, you need to create an instance of HTTP bearer as well. Assuming you want to use HTTP bearer token, you must store your HTTP bearer token in a variable, and obviously in a production environment, you will read this token from a secret manager. Then you will create a function called authenticate, and then you basically pass HTTP authorization credentials to it. Here, using this class, you can check the schema. If that is bearer, then fine, otherwise you raise an exception. And then you check the credentials, which has to be equal to your token. If they don't match, then you raise HTTP 403, which is forbidden. Now, how do we apply this? Every time you create an agent, depend one of the input parameters to that authentication function that you just created, like this. So that every time you want to call this myAgent function, this authentication function is called as well. If you want to handle the authentication within the agent, you can do that as well. However, you need to pass the context to it on top of the input message. The context will provide you with a property called request. That request property has an attribute called headers. You can get the authentication header using the get method. If it is not provided, obviously you raise 403 or 401 or something like this. And then you can basically check to see if the authentication header starts with bearer. If not, raise an error. In the next step, you can write a custom code to validate the token yourself. And after that, you write whatever code that you want and you need for your agent. Instead of that, I've put a pass in here.